The past 30 years have witnessed a boom in stadium construction. Nearly every NFL, NBA, NHL, and Major League Baseball team plays in a venue that has been constructed or significantly refurbished since 1987. Despite the financial success of these leagues, the majority of this construction has been financed by the public at a cost of billions. Using the NFL as an example, here are the stadium construction costs since 1987. Notice how the public sector contributes the majority of stadium financing, especially prior to 2008. In fact, stadium expenditures were almost entirely borne by the public during this period. After 2008, public subsidies remained somewhat constant in total dollars, but the cost of stadiums exploded. Cost estimates for the next two NFL stadium projects in Las Vegas and Los Angeles are even higher than anything on this chart. Meanwhile, revenues for the NFL have climbed substantially, nearly doubling between 2010 and 2016. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell set a goal for $25 billion in league revenue by 2027. With NFL broadcast deals ending in the early 2020s, this goal appears within reach. So how can such a profitable league negotiate public subsidies for stadium construction? Usually, governments provide goods that would be difficult to produce in the private sector, such as roadways or national defense. But the NFL generates billions in revenue each year and could construct its own venues if necessary. While every public subsidy is a unique situation, in general they occur for two reasons. Number one, the team touts the economic benefit of the stadium to the area, and number two, the team threatens to move. In this video, we will examine the first question: is stadium construction an engine for economic growth? On the surface, stadium construction seems like an effective public works project. This is a time-lapse video of the new home of the Atlanta Falcons that summarizes 3 years of construction. Notice the incredible amount of labor and materials required. At a cost of over $1.5 billion, this stadium produces a substantial amount of earnings to workers and firms involved in the construction, money that will ultimately be redistributed across the economy as workers and firms spend their earnings. After the stadium is complete, the area benefits from economic activity at the game and any other events held at the stadium. Given the average attendance at a regular season NFL game is well over 60,000 people, this adds up to a substantial amount of spending. In addition, the NFL has awarded Super Bowls to the last 7 cities with newly constructed stadiums, which offers another opportunity to generate revenue for the area. This seems like a win-win arrangement. The franchise gets a new stadium, locals receive employment and wages during its construction, and the area gains a tourism attraction. Unfortunately, studies of economic impact find, at most, modest gains to stadium construction, and some are unable to find any discernible effect whatsoever. So how is this possible given all the time, effort, and money necessary to construct a stadium? The issue is that all of this economic activity represents the gross effect of the stadium, but the decision to publicly fund one of these should be based on its net economic effect. In other words, is the stadium a good investment for the public? Imagine this circle represents the gross economic effect of the stadium, specifically the earnings to everyone involved in its construction and the revenues generated at all its events. To achieve the net effect from this figure, we'll have to subtract several factors. First, the public contribution to the stadium is removed. Second, the revenues of the new stadium are not necessarily new economic activity. For locals, spending at the stadium only redistributes money within the city because, in the absence of the team, locals would likely find other uses for their money. This is why outside money is vital to economic impact. Spending by locals does not generate new economic activity. Third, some spending leaks out of the local economy. Consider the example of an out-of-town tourist to the Super Bowl who spends money on transportation, lodging, and food. Much of this spending will likely go to local branches of large corporations, and some of that money will certainly escape the area. Finally, NFL stadiums require significant security and can cause traffic congestion, two costs that are entirely borne by the local population. There is one last component to finding the net benefit of the stadium, and that is the estimated economic activity at the land without the stadium. It's true that most of these places are built in areas with low economic value, but the problem is an NFL stadium only hosts between 10 and 12 games per year. While we are used to seeing NFL stadiums at or near capacity during their games, this is how they look throughout the rest of the year. Stadiums require a large geographic footprint, and their sporadic use makes it unlikely that an NFL stadium is the best use of space for the city. Finally, there is evidence that municipalities with stadium deals are often forced into tough choices. Both Detroit and Hamilton County, Ohio have stadium commitments in the hundreds of millions of dollars, which obviously limits their ability to provide government services. The next two stadium projects in Las Vegas and Los Angeles will be interesting examples. The Los Angeles project is more expensive and uses no direct public subsidies. The Las Vegas project is projected to be less costly overall, but has an NFL record $750 million public commitment. The economic outcomes of these projects will be closely followed. Thanks for watching.